It's not all about real estate. Private lending is also another huge asset class that people invest in when using a self-directed retirement account. And if you don't want to do it directly from your self-directed IRA, guess what? You don't have to. You can actually make investments into a company like Bel Air Lending, where they are going to lend the money out at your direction. Join us on the next episode when we sit down with the founder and CEO, John Ford, who's going to tell you all about how it works. Oh, and by the way, you might also find out how he grew over $40 million in less than a decade as well. We'll see you then. Well, hello there, everyone. Welcome wherever and whenever you are listening to us on the podcast today. This is another episode of the IRA Cafe powered by American IRA. For those of you who have been here and heard a number of our presentations, you know all about American IRA. If you're new to the show, let me introduce you to the company American IRA, which is where we specialize in self-directed retirement accounts, whether that's going to be a self-directed IRA, whether it's going to be a solo 401k. And oh, by the way, if you also need LLC services inside of your IRA, we got you covered on all of it. So right here, you'll see our website. If social media is your thing, always find us on Facebook and you can like us there. And also, if you're surfing the YouTube channels, you can definitely find us and subscribe. You'll see these podcasts and others there, along with webinars and any of our other educational information. So once again, thank you for joining us and spending some time here. Before we get to our guest, just some questions out there for folks. A lot of folks think when they're using a self-directed IRA, or quite honestly, when they're getting into investment at all, they might only hear real estate. Okay. And all the different facets of it, whether it's going to be a fix and flip, whether it's going to be a buy and hold with tenant occupied properties. Is it going to be commercial property? Is it going to be just raw land and then you'll find something else to do with it? Keeping in mind that you can do all of that outside of your retirement account, but definitely inside of your retirement account as well. What if you're a person who's been doing real estate for a number of years and you're thinking, yeah, I really want to get into the self-directed game. I want to see if there's any other facets of investing out there, but I don't know if real estate is it. Well, what about if you became a private money lender out of your retirement account? Did you know that you could actually do that? I can't tell you the number of times when people find that there are so many other asset classes that they can invest in with their self-directed IRA. Today, we're bringing on a guest who not only does he understand how someone can use a self-directed account or do private lending as they wish, but he also is the CEO and founder of a company that is a private lending company. And yes, you are able to actually use self-directed funds to invest in companies like this where they can take on your lending project. I'm not going to tell you anything about that. I'm going to let him do that. So without further ado, I want to bring on John Ford, who is the founder and CEO of Bel Air Lending.
Thank you, Kyle.
About a year and a half ago at a Triad RIA Investor Association meeting. We were both vendors there side by side, and we got to talking. One of the things that you may see here in a little bit that always draws attention is that their company mascot is a golden retriever. And after having a couple of those in my life, I wonder, is there any other type of dog? But Goldie, the golden retriever, is the Bel Air mascot. There's Goldie right there. We're going to have John tell us about the company and about the team. But he has been a resource not only for us, but also clientele who have been able to use his services, of which we and our clients are eternally grateful. And what better way to say thank you than bring him on, let him educate all of you, let you know how you can use their services along with your self-directed IRA. So, John, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you so much, Kyle. Appreciate the opportunity to share Yes, Goldie is an English cream golden retriever. He looks like a golden retriever, but he's white. He's almost 100 pounds and 4 years old, and he is he gets all the attention around here, and he makes all the money. So he's really
Rightfully
brought a lot of
so.
joy into our life.
Right. Rightfully so. Really quick before we get into your background there's a lot of birds behind you. Tell us about the birds.
Well, I would say 3 years ago, I put out a bird feeder and started identifying birds that we saw, and we would print a copy from the internet and write the name of it and put it on the board. And after 3 years, I bet there's 30 different birds, not counting male and female, but that's probably 60 that we've identified out here. I've got like 5 feeders out, place for water, a couple of bluebird feeders, hummingbird feeders when the season's here. And it's just opened up a whole new world for me to identify
That's
the
awesome.
birds that are around.
That's fantastic. And, folks, I always say that, I don't know everything, even when I am doing interviews here on the podcast. I didn't know that John was a bird guy. Even I learned something here on the podcast. So, even if you find out later that private lending isn't your investment cup of tea, well, then maybe you can learn something about birds as well. But that'll be a
That's right.
different conversation altogether with John. John, if you wouldn't mind, if you would give us all a background of you. Who is John Ford? And then really, as you are talking about that, I'm going to also let you introduce the emergence of Bel Air. So tell us, we all know about, the Fresh Prince's path to Bel Air. So let's hear about John Ford's path to Bel Air as well.
Well, just a side note, the name Bel Air came from my very first car. So when I was 17, my dad bought a 1959 Chevy Bel Air from his dad for $100. And it was black with a white top. We named it the Batmobile. And that got me around pretty good for a couple years in high school and the first couple years of college. So my wife likes the Bel Air town and area in California and the hotel. But if truth be known, it's really because of the car. That's how we got the name Bel Air Lending. So 15 years ago, I became a real estate investor, and my wife, Jeannie, and I were buy and hold landlords. And that was basically all we were doing. Someone would bring a wholesale deal, and I would just like, nah, I'm not interested in that. And I wouldn't even try to make any money from it. I just would buy a house, fix it up, get a mortgage on it, and rent it out. And after about 7 houses, we ran out of money. We were kind of stuck. Like, we didn't know about investment money and hard money lending, and we were just sort of stuck. So I got a hold of a podcast from a president of a RIA in California. It was just how to build a credibility kit. And so I started to put together a credibility kit and gave it to my closest friends and tried to build a list up of people that I could send an email blast out if I needed money in the future. And so that's kind of how it started. What I did was I had a friend that was a money lender in the Raleigh area, and I bought 8 notes from him, and I learned the process of that and the paperwork. And then I went to a gentleman's seminar in Atlanta. He's passed away now. His name was Dyke Spotterford. And I went to his seminar about how to become a hard money lender. And he and his attorney taught that class. And then I started making loans. So the first year, we made 16 loans. The second year, we did 30. And then COVID hit, and we still did 32 loans, but not as much. Then the next year it jumped to 70, and then 103. And so you can see over 7 or 8 years, it's been a rocket ship. And basically, we started with around $1 million of our own money but that can only fund about 2 loans, maybe 3 loans. You have to have a little reserve. And we started raising money from there, and now our fund's up to $44 million in 8 years. So
Gotcha.
it's been a really incredible ride. But I wish my initial goal, my initial story was, hey, let's just make a little bit of money for retirement, just supplement our retirement money. It was not about starting a business and growing a business. And now we have, a succession plan. We have board of advisors, I have business coaches, and, a team of 6 of us. And, we're, really trying to go from good to great. So
it's possible where you hear people talk about becoming an accidental landlord. It's possible that you became an accidental lending company founder.
Yes. Yeah. So my world is really turned upside down. I mean, we're, even at least the IRS, they think we're making lots of money. So, I mean, we're paying more taxes than I used to make a year. And then now we're starting to give away to charities and companies that we love to support more money than we used to make a year. So it's really changed our world. When you have a fund that's $44 million, you only have to make just a little bit of that money, on a percentage basis to have a really nice income. So we've been very blessed, and it's taken off. It's beyond imagination of what I ever dreamt it would take. So very
And so
pleased,
that's
very
been,
blessed.
like you said, that's been, you've started growing it over about 8 years now. Is that how old Bel Air is, or you launched 8 years ago? Is that correct?
Well, we launched under my general contractor's name, Ford Associates NC LLC, and then it started growing so big. We said, let's separate this so we only do money lending in one company, and that's how. So we've been money lending for 8 years. Bel Air might be around 7 years old.
Okay, gotcha. Tell us a little bit about the workings of Bel Air. Let's say that somebody, maybe a client of ours who is thinking about doing their own private lending, say from their self-directed IRA, but then they also hear, well, maybe do I need some tutelage? Do I, is it easier for me to still keep working my 9 to 5 and, invest with a company that specializes in this? If you can, walk our listeners to really speak about the company itself and how it actually operates. What can someone expect? Let's say 10,000-foot view, if you want, of Bel Air Lending.
Okay. So we right now we have over 300 individual investors, and several of those investors use a custodian American IRA. So we have personal money, business money, POA money, 401k, solo 401k money in these over 300 clients. And so they invest that money with us. We pool our money with that, and then we loan it out to borrowers. We have around 35 borrowers. So the 3 areas that we make loans to are small land developments, single-family residential land, new construction from ground up residential homes, and the third is fix and flips, just same thing, residential. So we're in that single-family residential arena. That's our comfort zone. And so when a loan, for example, if a loan finishes, well, let me back up just a second. We use an entity called a lending trust. And so we do not have one big fund. Right now we have 118 little funds, and they're property specific. So an investor that invests our money through American IRA, they can be a money lender, and they can invest in a specific property. It's not in a giant property, but it's in a specific property. And so the 2 or 3 things that makes Bel Air unique, and I think while we grow, many times we have a waiting list. At one point we had a waiting list of almost $3 million, and we were waiting for properties to make to approve loans. But we never touch the money that is invested with our property. So we have a trust attorney that all the funds are directed to. They're wired or dropped off at his office. And we don't commingle that with our operating money. So we keep an arm's length with that money. And the second reason we're so successful is we pledge our net worth in between our borrower and our lender. So if we have a property that doesn't go right, goes south, then we take over that property. We pay our investors with our own money, full interest, and then we decide inside of Bel Air what to do with that property. Most of the time, we put more money into it, we fix it up, and we sell it. Sometimes we keep the property. So those are the two main reasons why we're so successful. We don't physically touch the money. We have a trust attorney that does that, and then we guarantee the returns of our investors by putting in our net worth. Now, it would be naive to think that out of 550 loans we've done over 8 years, that every single one would work out perfectly. Sometimes there's bumps in the road. Life happens. It would just be naive to think they're all going to work out perfect. So we build that in the cake mix. We know it's going to happen. And we're really uniquely qualified to manage these properties and mitigate risk because I'm a licensed general contractor with an unlimited status in North Carolina. So I can do residential or commercial at an unlimited dollar status. So that's one of the things that gives us some advantage. I've actually built 65 homes over the years, and I have over 50 rehabs under my belt, and now 550 hard money loans. So you learn a lot along the way, and you have experience makes it safer. So we're very excited about mitigating our risk. So we've never had to dip into our net worth, even though we put it up in between for security. Any losses that we've had, we've just been able to absorb it in our income for that year. So we might have made a little less that year than another year. But in $128 million, that's hard to believe, but we've done $128 million in loans. We've never passed a penny loss to any of our investors over the 8 years. So we have a really awesome track record.
Fantastic. The one thing that I've always heard you talk about is the strength of your team. I believe we have a recent anniversary team member there. Tell us a little bit about your team and who works with you there.
Wow. So my wife and I are the founders. We have just a simple LLC. We're taxed as a S corp, and she owns 50%, and I own 50%. I sometimes joke that I have 51, but it's really 50-50. And so Jeannie takes care of all the QuickBooks, paying the bills that need to be paid. Steve Lowry, our trust attorney, he handles all the payments in and out of the trust accounts. And then Sammy, who's on the call, has her 5th anniversary. Wow, she's just been here with the biggest growth that we've had. So she takes care of, she took care of a lot more, but marketing, all the marketing that we do, all the social media. She vets all the borrower applications, makes sure they're complete. She schedules draws and does customer relations with all of our borrowers. And then we have Dawn, I call her Donnie. She's our paralegal. She's a full-time paralegal just for us, and she handles all the trust documents, and she's our interface or our customer care person for all of our investors. So that's the person that would take care of all that and answer questions for that. We have another licensed general contractor, Jeff Hughes, who's also does site visits. So he'll do site visits, and if we have a problem account, what's really neat and makes us really unique, if I have a problem with and I'm going to take over a loan, I simply text Jeff and say, go by this address, and start writing down things that we need to do to complete this house and get it on the market. My colleagues that do what I do, they don't have that background. They don't have that team and construction knowledge. They have to hire another contractor. And time is money, so we can move fast and get things done. So we have a sort of a unique ability, and that's why I feel like I'm uniquely qualified to do this on a high level and mitigate risk involved. We have Cindy, who is our customer care for all of our land developers. So about 52% of our fund, which would be over 22 million, small land development. So Cindy takes care of that. She has a professional background in money lending and hard money lending, and also some other lending. So we have, of course, our attorneys, and we have our CPA that does the taxes. So we have professionals to do all that, and real estate agents when we need them.
Fantastic on the team front there, and really, when we put these programs together, folks, it's not just on a whim. We want to make sure that when you are taking time out of your busy part of your day, whether it's the morning, the evening, or any time in between, your time is important. And so we want to make sure that just as important is the information you're learning. If you are interested in doing business, whether it's going to be with your self-directed IRA or what have you, and of course with American IRA doing that, as John's already said, they are used to working with our clientele. You know that with the deep knowledge, you know that when you are lending into Bel Air Lending, that it's someone who actually gets it, who has worked in all of the different areas to see the successes of how that lending is going to work, right? So let's look into and delve into clients there, John. What tell us about, and of course, no names or anything, but tell us about your clients. Who are your clients? Where do they come from? What are they looking to do? Are they all seasoned? Are they new at this? Do they run the gamut? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, that's a great question. So, currently we have over 300 investors with Bel Air Lending, and we're a great place to park your money if you're a passive investor. We have great returns. What I cannot help you with is, when a house sells, I just don't know exactly the date it's going to sell. So if you can park your money with us for a range of time, for example, we have 6-month loans, 9-month loans, 12-month loans, and 18-month loans. Ideally, a 6-month loan should be somewhere between 4 and 8 months. Nobody knows when that's going to sell or if it's going to be a refinance to do that. So if you need your money back at a specific date, I'm not a good place to park your money, but if you're okay with leaving it a range of time, we're a really great place to invest your money. We try to make it easy. We try to help you with forms if you have trouble with that, because we deal with them all the time. Dawn is the one that helps mostly with that, but we look at them and we're used to seeing them, and it's no big deal for us. So we try to offer as much customer service as we can. So. Wow, let's see. So many ways I could go with this question. In the range of dollars, of the over 300, we have 12 that have invested $1 million or more with us. Probably 1.8 million is the top in that range. We do have a minimum investment of it's $50,000 when you're referred by someone. We lower that by 10, to 10,000. So. We have some special programs for students if they want to start a Roth IRA. We had some special bonus interest, in for that. So we have investors from 25 states and also Ecuador. And you're probably wondering, how did you find someone in Ecuador to invest? But so a gentleman that's local, his cousin lives in Ecuador, and she had a Bank of America account, so it was easy to wire the money to our trust attorney from there. As far as professions, we have a list on our website, but the most interesting one to me is a gentleman he's a Black Hawk helicopter pilot, and he blows up stuff. And I call him a badass because he blows up stuff. It's incredible to think, but that's probably my most interesting. We have, doctors and dentists, and we have a former hedge fund manager, that's invested with us. It started off really basically with friends and family. So my oldest investor is my mom. She's 97. And my youngest investor is about a 3 or 4-year-old in a CISA account, which is a Coverdell Education Savings Account, through a dad who wanted his 3 kids to get started early. And so that would be the youngest. We actually lower the amount for kids, or if you want to do something with your grandkids, we love to help as much as we can for that. So when I first started publicizing myself as a money lender, I was a member of the local RIA here in Raleigh, which is called TRIA, which stands for Triangle Real Estate Investment Association. And I counted up at the end of the year, I went to 70 meetings that year with a little flyer that says, hey, we made with a picture of a house, and I made a loan to this borrower, and if you want to, you could participate in $10,000 increments or more of this promissory note, and we pay 10% interest on that, and I manage it all. When it's over, you can get all your money back, or you can reinvest it. And so that's really one of the way I got started, is that consistent message. People maybe didn't know me, but it's a long-term plan and goal. I was invited to lead a subgroup for TRIA, and then I was asked to be on the board of directors, and I did that for a few years, and I was asked to be president of the board of directors, and I did that for a few years. So just invested in the community and taught a lot of classes, and got to know people. So my borrowers and also my investors were in the same room, and a lot of the investors were afraid to pull the trigger to buy a house, to make it a rental or to flip it, but they could be the bank. They could loan the money to me, and I would invest it and do all the hard work. And they were investing in real estate, and it was easy. It was less risk. And I think everyone should become a money lender. It's being the bank. I think of all the different real estate investing, is one of the safest out there.
There are folks that will call me, and they're conflicted on some things, and they know they want to get started. Maybe they are a seasoned investor and it's in the real estate world, or lots of times I've had folks that will call me and they'll tell me that they're doing a real estate deal, and I'll listen to them for a little bit, ask them a couple of questions, and then we'll find out, well, it's not really a real estate deal at all that you're doing. Quite frankly, you were jumping into, you're going to be a private money lender. No. You're going to be doing private money lending. It may be towards a certain piece of real estate, or you're going to loan this to someone who is going to be working on a piece of real estate, or a developer or so-and-so. But yeah, you're going to be a private money lender. And folks, just keep this in mind as well. When using your self-directed IRA, and even though that real estate is one of the top asset classes across the entire industry of this, it is unbelievable the number of people that have come to us thinking that they were going to start using their self-directed retirement account for real estate, and they didn't do that at all. And quite honestly, they've become some of the best private money lenders there are, and they love it. Just like John was saying, he's not just saying it because he runs the company that's their specialty. He talks about, is it a little safer? I'll let him answer that. I'll let you figure that. Do you not want to be boots on the ground? Is it a good thing if you still have a 9 to 5 or any other type of job that really takes a lot of your time? Your family, how old are your kids? Does it, are there a lot of outside things that take a lot of your time that might pull your attention for things that might be a little bit more consuming, whether or not you're using a self-directed IRA, and things, of course, have to stay a little hands off on that. But, private lending is something that the loan goes out, and now you can do a lot of other things while those things are paying back in. Oh, by the way, now it's arm's length, and you're using a company like John's Bel Air Lending, and you have loaned your money out to them, or you have invested your funds in with them, and then they are doing the lending, investing from there. So possibly even more streamlined and curving out your days there, that you can go on and enjoy life and all the twists and turns that you've got, keeping up with your day to day, and let your money work in other areas. So so glad that John has this company to be able to help you. We want to make sure too that if this is something that you're looking to do, and especially if you've got the self-directed account that you want to do it with, well, we're going to make sure that you see John's information up here in just a little bit. John, one thing I wanted to ask you about, uh, is there any difference? One thing that I've learned as well, there's a private money team and there's Bel Air. Can you tell us a little bit about the private money team, and maybe what's the difference, or how do they interface together?
Well, the private money team are just our individual investors, our 300 strong army. That would be the private money team. Bel Air is just the vehicle behind it that does all the work. And I love the example. I guess it's a meme, but it's a picture of a duck, and it's a cross section through the water. And so at the top, he's smooth sailing, not a feather rippled, but underneath he's paddling with his little feet as fast as he can. So above the water, those are our investors. Below the water, that's Bel Air and our team. So we're working hard, so you don't have to work hard.
And I think that that's really it. And that's why this partnership has always been so great. For those of you who have been clients of American IRA, you know that you are able to bring, or whether you're going to roll your funds, whether you're going to do a transfer, whether you're going to make your contributions year after year into your self-directed retirement account, you know that you have a home at American IRA, where then you are in control and you direct that, and you're not at the mercy of whatever the stock market is doing. And then as you decide that you want to move these funds to a company like Bel Air, again, it is a very streamlined process. And then you know that it's being cared for there. So a couple things about the two companies, just what I want to talk about. Again, if you are someone who has been questioning, is it now time for me to do a different investment? Is it time for me to start the investing process altogether? How do I want to do it? Is it something that I want to use the stock market? Is it something that I want more control over? And if so, is it now time for me to go ahead and get my account set up at American IRA? Again, please visit our website. You'll also see my information on there where you can call us, and we're Eastern time, and 9 to 5, and we Monday through Friday. We want to make sure that we are available for you to answer all your questions. And it's not just on those phone calls. It's right here on the American IRA Cafe, powered by American IRA, where you're going to get this and other information. Also, where you're going to get to hear from wonderful guests like John himself to find out about all of the tools that are out there that you can pack all these away into your investment toolbox. Well, John, I tell you, before we sign off here, I want to thank you again. Any parting words that you would like to share with potential clients of yours? Any parting words you want to share about being able to work with American IRA's clients, and the successes with that?
Well, I do want to commend American IRA for how well they communicate through the whole process. And they're one of our longest custodians. We might have a dozen custodians, and that's what I think of as, I'm not sure if that's the terminology that's proper, but I think as American IRA. And so they're one of the easiest to work with, and definitely on the top of the list as far as communicating and, holding your hand and letting you know what's going on in the process. So you're in good hands with American IRA, and I highly recommend them. I would just like to, as something parting, just to, I think if you're in the stock market, maybe primarily, it's not really a bad idea to diversify into real estate. And with money lending into private, alternative investments like this with Bel Air Lending, what you're doing is you're diversifying in real estate, and it's one of the safest arenas of real estate. So I would encourage everyone, and for everyone, we could lower our entry level to $10,000 for everyone that comes through with American IRA, and get your feet wet. Choose a short-term loan, see how you like it, make sure you understand the process. We're very available, to answer all your questions and make it easy for you. So we like it. We want to you to hit the easy button, and we want to take care of you. And we think that we've solved a problem. And the problem is, how can small to medium-sized investors, get real estate deals that pay 10 to 13% return in a safe environment? And so if you're what I call a whale or a big investor, you get investment opportunities brought to you all the time. But those of us that are smaller investors don't get that opportunity. And I think that we've solved that problem. We have a vehicle to do that. And, we've solved the problem with low risk and high returns. So thanks so much for the opportunity to get to share what I have a passion to do.
No, and there's nothing better than to have something you love, know that you're good at it, and then the real fun is turning that around, sharing it with others so that they can win as well. So, John, again, thank you so much. And to your team, Sammy, who's there in the background, again, happy 5 years to you.
Yes,
I know she can hear us on there. Folks, I tell you, before we sign off here, I want to say thank you again for you joining us. Hope that you always find value in American IRA's productions here and who we bring on to give you some of the most sound education that you can learn from and then turn around and use it yourself. It's not always about the listening. Now it's time for you to put it into action. And if that action is wanting to go ahead and set up your new account with American IRA, give me a call. Send me an email. And that is at Kyle at American IRA. You are more than welcome to use that email and let me know that you heard me here. And we will definitely make sure that you are taken care of. For all of us and our staff that I'm backed by here at American IRA, we're getting ready to sign off and say thank you again. And we look forward to seeing you on another episode of the IRA Cafe powered by American IRA. See you next time.
American IRA, LLC, a North Carolina LLC, acts as a third-party administrator for New Vision Trust Company, a state-chartered South Dakota trust company. As a neutral self-directed IRA administrator, American IRA does not recommend or endorse any investments, individuals, or entities, including financial representatives, promoters, or companies. American IRA and the IRA Cafe are not responsible for other statements, representations, or agreements, nor do we evaluate the quality or profitability of any investment. American IRA does not endorse guests on the IRA Cafe podcast. Guest opinions are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of American IRA, its subsidiaries, associates, or custodian. Participation in the podcast is voluntary and no compensation is provided. American IRA is not a fiduciary and cannot offer financial advice. Please consult your CPA or another professional before making financial decisions.